Welcome to Theater of the Mind. Theater of the Mind is an unofficial D&D 5e actual play podcast. Theater of the Mind is not appropriate for all audiences, and therefore listener discretion is advised.
Oh, I'm sure we are so far beyond. Mel actually killed someone. I think we're pretty far beyond the whole, oh god, I broke a nail thing. She's pretty.
Oh yeah, Mel did kill someone.
She's pretty pissed off, though. I'm almost positive the blood is not coming out of her yoga pants.
Oh, absolutely.
She's very upset about that, I'm sure.
And, I mean, she knows how to get blood out of yoga pants, but this is not working for her.
Usually that involves a laundry machine.
And
That's fair.
Yeah. There's a lack of laundry here. But
How does Mel know how to get blood out of yoga pants?
do I need to explain to you why women know how to get blood out of everything?
Never mind. I understand.
I don't want to be here for this conversation.
My apologies.
I just took it for granted everybody knew that was the thing.
You don't think
If I'm
about
being
it.
perfectly honest, that's not where my brain went immediately either. I was like, yeah, like nosebleeds and stuff. She's a fucking trainer.
Oh yeah, that's
And they're like, oh yeah, that makes also plenty of sense.
I have never been more happy that I've discreetly hit the record button than I am right now.
sweet.
And on that note,
That goes on the
welcome
blooper
to
reel.
Theater of the Mind,
Or what?
actual play D&D podcast. I'm Mike. I'm your dungeon master, and well, our question today is: some of us committed murder for the first time, and we have magic floating around. How is everybody's mental state doing?
I'm Amanda, and I'm playing Mel Kelly. Mel is not. She doesn't deal with her emotions. She stifles them. She hides them behind Perky. And in this case, because they've been helping doing chores on Elliot's farm, she's also hiding them behind a lifetime's worth of disgustedness at shoveling manure for what seems like an eternity.
I'm Jeremy. I'm playing Elliot Brandybane. And Elliot Brandybane really doesn't give a shit. He's home. He's got his critters with him. And you know what? The outside world's always a mess, no matter what. So really, he can just kind of ignore it now that he's home. It doesn't matter.
Olnak hasn't been to therapy like myself, so he buries his feelings like I used to. Huh? Oh yeah. I'm Bernal, I think is what we're going with.
That is your name.
One of the three mics on the board.
Some of us don't always know our name all the time.
Yeah,
okay?
it's not
hard.
as easy as you make it seem. All right, Chuck.
I
Damn
have
it.
to
All right.
think about it for one.
But yeah, so Olnak buries his feelings. He doesn't really know how to control his emotions yet. But oddly enough, he is kind of a psycho in some ways and has been kind of fantasizing about cutting somebody's head off for an unnecessarily long time and got to do that. So that was pretty cool for him. However, he's now kind of dealing with like, hey, you did actually have to kill somebody and it's not a movie. Like that shit happened. He just doesn't know how to deal with it, right? He's not going to show anybody that he's dealing with it because that would make him a burden, and he won't do that. But he's struggling.
I'm Michael Downs, playing James O'Brien. And James, it started out this whole situation pretty okay. You know, like as long as he's got his toolkit and his knives, he should be perfectly fine. But then he risked his life for a kid and got his ass laid out by a biker and realized that he is not strong in any sense of the word. And so he's been struggling a lot with his own weaknesses and doing a bunch of training with the bow up at Elliot's farm and whatnot. And a lot of magic flying around. And he's kind of pissed that he can't use it. So he's kind of aggravated in a way of his own shortcomings.
I'm Casey and I play Emery Lee. I almost said that I play Mel Kelly because I got distracted for a second.
I'll just point that name tag somewhere else.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I think Emery hasn't been sleeping particularly well. There's been a lot of good distractions lately between riding bikes for far too long and then nursing the sore legs that caused and doing the work around the ranch. But I think it is kind of catching up with her, and she's had a lot of late nights just kind of thinking and trying to ponder. The magic thing is weird. She doesn't know what's going on with that. She wants to find out, but isn't really sure what direction to take. So just kind of lost and mulling things over.
That is a fair and reasonable way to feel after that. So let's go ahead and roll to see who gets to recap last episode. We'll go ahead and go lowest roll goes.
No!
Oh, no! Come on!
13. Elliot's got 13.
I got a 14.
Also got a 14.
5.
5. No, I don't remember anything.
John, Kim, point. All right.
If you want, I'll give the recap. I listened to the episodes and I
got
took
4.
notes.
What'd you
got a
get?
4.
Oh.
I got a 5.
Well, in that
you're
case,
lowest
you
then.
have to recap
Get
there.
him, Dungeon Master.
Thank
I'll,
God.
I'll recap. I'll rescue this time.
You wrote it, therefore you should know what we did, right?
I listened to it 3 times this week, and you think I'd have better recollection than I do. So last episode, we started with you guys rinsing your clothing of the gore that occurred the episode before when you got absolutely massacred by Pork Chop.
Yeah.
Big old boy walking around, one-shotting most of you guys. And then you made it to the city of Colburn with a small child in tow.
Jacob.
You made it to the city of Colburn. Colburn, for the most part, was faring pretty okay. It's a town that's used to having technological issues because it's kind of secluded away from everything. You stopped and you met Sven at the local liquor distributor. And he was generous enough to allow Elliot to procure some spirits on basically credit. And then you went to Elliot's. You went to a church, stayed the night because most of your day had been spent trying actively to not die. So you stayed the night at a church where you met a pastor and heard about his nice wife and slept. And then the next day you made it to Elliot's ranch where we met Walt Allen, and Walt showed Jacob some of the natural world, talked to him about baby cows becoming baby cows. And whilst he was doing that, you had deep existential conversations about what is going on in the world and what you want to do about the world. And we did a vague training montage that would probably dive deeper into this session. So yeah, I kind of remembered.
There were the pretty people on.
Oh yes, and the
Lizard
very
back.
last thing you saw
That's where we left off. I remember that part.
were some freakishly pretty people with pointy ears riding weird green, squat, wide-legged horses.
Pretty people on lizardback.
Yes, pretty people on lizardback. And I believe the very last thing that had happened is Elliot had waved. Somebody waved. Somebody waved at them and they waved back. They were meandering in your direction. They were by no means aggressively approaching. They were just kind of going towards. So that's where we'll pick up this session. The riders approach. They get up close, and you can tell at this point, absolutely, those are lizards. They're huge lizards. Some might even call them giant lizards. And the leader, or the person you could safely assume is the leader, speaks with a bit of a mighty, dainty voice. Hello, human. Please tell me, how far are we from the coast of your nation?
Which coast?
I mean, the answer's pretty far either way.
Well, are you looking for an ocean or would you settle for the Gulf?
We are in deep desire to vacate your lands.
Well, fella, nice to meet you. My name's Elliot Brandybane, and you're on my place.
And I would very much like for that to not be the case. I apologize for the damage our lizards did to the fences.
The
We-
fences. Oh God, not the. Son of,
Oh, that was so much work the last time.
Oh, okay. Which direction are you headed there, fella?
They are currently headed west.
You're headed west. So you want to know how far to the California coast?
Is that what it is called? The California coast.
That's not what he's. That's close enough.
That's so weird.
It's about 1,600 miles.
What is mile?
All right. How
Does anyone know
fast do you?
kilometers?
It's 2 days by car.
I don't know if that's gonna help him.
I don't
Mel.
think they're riding cars.
Ooh. It's like 4 hours by plane. I used to do it by plane all the time.
Oh, good.
Which
All right.
plane? Astral?
Arrow?
Ethereal?
Arrow.
A plane of arrows.
No, air, like air.
Oh, the elemental plane of air.
No, she means fly.
What is this dude talking about?
She means flying through the air.
It takes 4 days for your fly fast. Where are your wings?
I don't believe we're all
This is
having
such
the
a
same
strange
conversation.
land.
Hey, Mister. Before we go much further, what's your name?
My name is.
Your accent drifting is
It's all over the fucking place. Yeah.
Is he English? Is that what this is?
No, I think he's French.
I'm not entirely sure.
Oh. I've
I
never
don't
met a
know
Frenchman. You're right, they are
What
pretty.
these words you speak of are.
He seems very confused.
Well,
I
I know.
am loading my name.
People don't like it when you people
The
don't
page
like
wasn't
it
open like I thought it
when
was.
you point out their confusion at them. Trust me, okay? We get really offended.
I am mildly offended that you keep referring to me as a mister. My name is Russia. I am feminine. Female, I believe, is the word I've heard your kind use.
Some days.
Oh, sorry, ma'am. Didn't mean to offend you there. Rosia?
Roja.
Rosia. Okay. Are you familiar with a horse?
We have horse, yes.
Okay. How fast is your lizards compared to a horse?
It's fairly comparable. Depending on the surface, ours go on walls much better than a horse.
I mean-
but on land, it's fairly comparable.
Okay.
We're British
Well,
now.
you, Rosia, you, let's see here, on a horse, California coast, it'd take you about 95 days to get to the coast.
My God.
That long?
Yeah, they don't have wings.
God, that's a long time.
Well, you-
Sorry.
That's also kind of assuming your little lizard. Well, I guess giant lizard creatures need to drink water or something.
They do require the same sustenance most living creatures do.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do a lot of stopping. It's a trip. It's a trek.
Yeah.
So,
We also require sleep. We require downtime at night. We must
now she's Australian?
Yep.
At night?
Listen,
You drink
This is
water?
the accent of the ethereal plane. It is a drifting, vague thing.
they don't.
It's
understand
real hard to
English that
pin
well.
you down.
Well, Mel's going to try to pedal his.
Hey, Mel, you know that the dog, well, never mind. Go pet him.
Are you rolling an animal handling check?
Yep. That's a 13.
Yeah, it'll let you pet you.
Woo, I
It lets
didn't
you
get
pet
bit
it.
by something. First time for everything.
So yeah,
It's rough, dry, especially out here. It's particularly dry, scaly skin. May not be the most pleasant thing you've ever pet.
It didn't bite me. I love it.
That's because you don't smell like kale anymore.
Oh, I miss those. Those were so good. I miss vegetables. I'm not going to lie. I really miss eating vegetables.
Rosia, okay, so if just so you know, if you keep going west, you're fixing to go into a pretty big desert. Water gets a little rough to find.
It was bad enough getting across your never-ending flat, and then those god-awful mountains, and now we are going into a desert.
But although luckily there's a river, you can follow the river almost all the way through. But
That's
that's going to increase
fantastic.
your distance by a long ways.
I think that'll be worth us not dying.
Yeah, most of the old pioneers thought so too. They like to follow rivers. Where are y'all from anyway?
We are from Dorbuinian.
Gesundheit.
Is
Mark?
that a country or is that a planet?
They're not green.
Their lizards are.
ears and they're riding lizards.
That doesn't. Not all aliens have to
That
be
is the
green.
land of our kingdom.
Some of them are gray.
Dorboinian.
How long you been riding to get here?
We have been on horseback, lizard back.
Lizard horseback. Got it.
Mounted. You've been mounted.
We've been mounted for many a night now. Time got a bit weird
Now it's Cockney. That's great.
for a minute.
Timed it.
There was Imoritar cast his great magics,
There was a what?
and then time got a bit odd, and suddenly we were in a massive town. Nothing like we've ever seen before. Massive town where everybody was wearing strange clothing, speaking strange language, and protecting themselves in some sort of giant metal beetles carcasses.
Those are called cars here.
Car. These must be fearsome creatures.
Wait.
Oh, very. Yeah.
What language do you normally speak? Because your common's a bit rough.
We speak the land of Dorboinian.
Oh boy.
Is that like French?
I don't know what a French is.
It's a different.
They're pretty like you.
Well, that is a very kind compliment, young lady.
Can you describe some of the buildings you saw in this gigantic city?
Taller than anything we've ever seen. They would rival the greatest of fortresses.
When you arrived, were you on like a patch of ground that was shaped kind of like a diamond? I try like drawing like a symbol of a baseball field on the ground.
We were in a large field, yes. There were no diamonds that we could see. The people of that land kept speaking of Memphis.
Memphis? So, okay. That sounds like Tennessee to me, y'all. Is that right?
We
You
should
gotta
have
be-
gone.
Only 10 I see.
Oh, it's flattery will get you everywhere, Roja.
Oh, look at that.
You should have gone. Did you start looking for a coast from Memphis?
Our initial reaction was to follow the sun.
Oh, yeah, that's
That was-
you. The wrong
Oh.
one.
A horrible
Yeah.
decision.
You should have went south.
Or
You'd have hit a
east.
coast way earlier. Why
Or
are you
east.
trying to get to a coast?
Because the Moritar is here, and we want to not be anywhere near
It-
Moritar.
Is a
Tell
Moritar
us.
a great big dude in black armor with a
Yes.
curved blade that does
Moritar
runes?
is bringer of death and destruction. We
That's a
have
guy
learned-
on TV.
Yeah.
Figures he landed in Boston.
Should have landed in New York.
It is fitting that he would be in the boss town.
Yes. Yes, it would. Okay.
Totally never before intentional.
What do you know about a Moritar other than he's the bringer of death? I mean, that's a lot, and that's important.
Yeah, it's
but,
pretty serious.
like, what is he? What does he want?
Imoritar is, I believe, the nearest translation would be the Dark King. Though his followers prefer to call him Retribution.
What kind of fantasy nonsense is this?
I know, it sounded pretty D&D
These-
to me. It's weird shit happening with this
Weird
Moritar.
Red-haired man. This is no fantasy.
They know
Good,
D&D.
because I ain't no nerd.
Are you sure it's not? Like, my dad used to talk about stuff like this all the time, and it sounds
Your
very reminiscent.
Father was a wise man. Imoritar is not one with which to be trifled.
Yeah, that's kind of the point. When my dad was talking about this stuff, it wasn't like real. That's why it's fantasy. Do you understand, Roja?
I understand what a fantasy is, yes.
Hey, so if we're talking about all this fantasy nonsense, like, Are you familiar with magic?
Oh, we know magic very well. It is the common practice in our lands.
See, he's French.
Common,
She's
you
French
say?
again. Okay.
It's a foreign.
So,
Accent.
what are you familiar
As
with,
foreign as it
like
gets.
these foggy amorphous blob type creatures?
Ghost?
No, they're way more powerful than that. But they give people magic powers. Are those like super common where you're from?
Dark being that gives magic power?
Only dark, smoky, cloudy, and then they just go disappear.
I personally normally try to avoid the dark smoky beings that promise great power. It could be a lich, that could be a demigod, that could be a god, that could be a fae, that could be any number of quite dangerous creatures.
Mel, what did you do?
I don't know. Sounded like a good idea at the time, though.
What did you do?
Nothing
I now am not
much.
sure if we should be on your land.
We should talk about Emery. Emery's got cool things going on over there, and
Yeah,
she
we'll
doesn't
put a
have
pin
any
in that.
creepy beings.
Yeah, we're gonna have to circle back for sure. That was odd.
A couple of us have started having magical powers recently, and that's not something we usually have here.
That doesn't exist here. No,
We don't.
Mm-mm.
No one has ever actually had magic.
Your land has created the magnificent cities you've had without the use of magic.
We use machines for stuff like that.
Yeah,
Ah,
we're big
shit.
on the techno thing.
Yeah. So like those car things we were talking about earlier,
The
those
great
are
giant beetles.
exactly those aren't beetles. Those are
Those are man-made
Contraptions.
constructs.
Yeah, someone built those.
I feel like it doesn't matter anymore.
It
It doesn't
does-
make anything worse.
You should tell us
Well,
more
That's
about
fair.
Yeah.
magic. I think.
Yeah, it might come in handy.
There are the magic. There are several ways that our people learn the magic. There is some study great tomes where they
Okay.
go to specialized schools to learn the magic. It takes years and years of very dedicated study, but they end up being some of the greatest beings in our world, some of the most powerful beings in our world. They typically have seats in our governments. Our kings rely on them for information and protection. They are
What about people who just suddenly start having magic?
it just happens.
It just happens.
We refer to people like that as sorcerer. At some point in time, did anyone in your family have relations with a dragon?
That okay?
Wow, that got like
Wow.
super personal
I feel
real
like she
quick.
just insulted you.
That
I
was
don't know a lot about my great grandparents, but I would be extremely surprised.
That is one of the ways. If you have dragon blood coursing through
I'm
your veins.
pretty sure we don't have dragons here.
Did you eat a Komodo dragon when you were a kid? Or something?
No,
Do you have dragon or do
my
you not
cousin
have
had a bearded dragon, but that was it.
okay. So a
Do
Komodo
dragons
dragon.
have beards
Yeah.
like the dwarves?
How
No.
close were they?
Oh my
Well,
god!
yeah. I guess
I
by
don't
that.
want to
Yeah.
think about that.
Wait, are we talking about like mythical dragons, but like flap?
Is that a thing in your world? Like,
They
you
are
know,
not mythical. They
wings,
have
fire breathing.
some fire, some lightning, some acid,
Oh god, that
some
sounds terrifying.
poison, some ice. They have absolutely wrecked entire kingdoms. If you cross them wrong,
Do they speak?
they can. They have humanish form, even.
Y'all didn't bring any, did you? I don't know why I changed accents.
I am not one with which dragons tend to spend their time. We did not bring any dragons. We brought lizard, is similar to dragon,
And they're
much
so
smaller and
nice.
safer, far more docile.
I'm gonna put this as delicately as possible. With the pointy ears, I'm pretty sure you called us like human at some
What
point.
are you?
Are you not
I was okay.
human?
Well, yeah.
No, you nailed it. That's you got it.
Yeah. What are you?
Ooh, I am elf.
Okay, so we
you
were
look
right.
a little
This
tall
is
to be an elf.
Not a Keebler elf.
Lord of the Rings elf.
Yeah, like
Oh, yeah.
Galadriel.
Yeah, that.
Okay.
That. I told you I'm not a nerd.
So-
Why is the blonde one having a stroke?
I just want to say I love your lizards. To date, this is the only animal I've ever touched that hasn't bit me.
Do they taste like chicken?
We do not eat the animals with which we are close companions.
Yeah, we definitely sometimes do, but that's a different thing. For a
You are humans. Humans are barbaric.
I
I-
have,
well-
Lower life form.
that
I
might
feel
the lower life. Really?
I have
that's-
so many
The
recipe ideas
short-lived
right now.
ones tend to have more barbaric
But-
traits. Is that not the
Okay.
case here?
How? Okay.
We have no other species.
it's just humans.
Nothing else speaks here. Like you were mentioning, the dragons talk sometimes in
Yes.
your world. We're it. Like nothing
You
else.
have no great druids that which can commune with nature.
No. No, there's no magic here. There's just humans. No elves, no dwarves.
God, our world is depressing.
What
Yeah,
else
our
is in
world
Lord of
seems
the Rings?
lame
No
now.
orcs.
No hobbit.
There's
No
no.
hobbits.
There's none of
no
them
hobbits
giant
here.
troll things that like throw rocks and stuff.
Yeah.
Your
Was that
world-
the right movie?
If
What?
your world is so
think so.
incredibly monoculture and safe, why is it every city we have passed through seems to be at war with itself?
Ooh, 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 ooh. I have a theory on this.
And she's
What is it, small blonde one?
maybe.
Due to lack of like what do you call it when there's lots of things?
Electricity.
Diversity. What? So, like, due to the lack of diversity, we just hate each other. That's the theory. Like, because we don't have a common enemy, we just like to hate each other. It's easier that way.
Our world just recently lost our creature comforts, and now we all hate each other.
Yeah.
Everything stopped, and that's really how we rely on everything. That's how we eat and grow food and cook things. And
To
Stay
what
warm.
names?
Yeah.
He is the Elliot.
mhm.
She is short blonde.
My
What is
name's
rest of
Mel.
you? Short blonde. Mel, the short blonde. Mel.
I think that's the best you're gonna get out of that. Mel.
I'm James, the gorgeous redhead one.
Good try, buddy.
I was trying.
Your
That's what I'm
your
trying.
your culture has much different standards.
All right, I'm eating a lizard now.
We have never seen one of the red-haired in our lands.
So many recipes for cooked giant lizard now. I swear.
I'm Emery.
Emery,
Yeah, Emery. Yeah.
MRE.
Those are delicious.
Sure.
By the way.
You
Only
eat her.
select ones.
No, it's a different thing.
It's an acronym.
Yeah, it
also
means
for
meal
food.
ready to eat. It is. Yeah.
Your name is Meal.
No,
No, it's
I'm throwing this
Emery.
off. Just you listen to her.
It's Emery.
Emery.
Sure. That works.
Emery,
Emery.
sure. And you are
My name is Olnak.
Olnak.
Which yes,
Why did they get your name? What the hell?
I don't know. My dad
This is
came up with my
common
weird ass name.
from our land. Ulnok. We had 50 Ulnoks when I was in the schools.
She even says it like my dad. I fixed it.
She.
I fixed it. I said she after I said he twice. I'm sorry. That's whatever. All right, Roja? I was trying to explain something and we were getting there. All right? You got to give me some time. I haven't eaten in a while. All right? I'm a little bitchy. Okay. Very clear that we're going to have a little bit of a communication barrier. So, yeah, my name's Olnak. Roja, correct? Am I saying that right? Roja?
Yes.
So, what made you choose to follow the sun? Is that just a common thing for y'all? You just kind of
When you are lost, you follow brightest star in the sky, so you continue in consistent direction.
I guess that works
That
really.
is
That works pretty well. But
Totally the brightest star in the sky.
yeah, it would work a lot better at nighttime for your particular journey. But
We then keep the star that seems to hang in your northern quadrant to our
Right.
right. And then we continue on our path. But we like to let our animals rest at
Right.
the night, except for at the top of your mountains where it was quite cold.
yeah, it gets pretty cold up there. So
So about this whole death and destruction dude.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
how do you make him go away? Like, can you just take him home with you too?
There is no going home for us. We are not capable of the level of magic that Immoratar is. Immoratar is not going away of his own accord. Once Immoratar has come to a land, Immoratar stays until he has conquered that land.
So he conquered your land?
Oh yes, and many before ours.
That's not comforting.
There is a reason his followers call him Retribution.
Oh, there's followers with him. It's not just him.
Oh, he has many a worshipper. He is revered amongst the new gods.
New? How many
The
have you
new
got?
gods. Well, we have many a god, but we simply classify between old gods and the new gods. He is first amongst the new gods.
Eh.
Okay.
Is are there anybody opposing Immoratar that you know of?
Not
Like groups or
not still living. No, he eradicated all of the resistance forces in my land. We were fleeing, hoping to find salvation in a new country, and like I said, there was sickly green-yellow burst of light. We were in a forest, and then we were not. We were in magnificent city
of Memphis?
of Memphis.
I think they're the first person to call Memphis magnificent.
It is the, up until we traveled through the land of Denver, it was one of
Yeah.
the biggest set. We never thought we were going to get out the other side of Denver.
That's usually the
It is
experience.
We all feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was when we had cars too.
Oh God, it would take like a week to get through Denver.
Hey guys, I just
You
realized
could do some
something.
nice shopping though.
If Big Bad Evil Dude
We know shopping.
appeared in Boston, right? And then these guys appeared in Tennessee. That's quite a distance. So other people could have maybe popped up in different places. Like a dragon.
Oh God, I don't like dragons. I've never
Hey,
seen one. I don't
you were
like it.
talking about
They just better
planes.
stay off my place. That's all I've got to say.
I don't think the mentality is going to work against a dragon.
Well, we
Well,
can
by God, I hope we don't have to find out.
just feed us some of Walt's cooking.
That might do it.
Hey, shh, he's sensitive about that.
He's not here.
You know, I
He's
think I got
I know,
dysentery
but
for like
just
a
say
day.
it quietly.
It's not that bad. He just has some culinary ideas that are.
You know
ready.
what? You could maybe teach him how to use like salt and pepper a little would help.
I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but I've been slipping some salt into the food lately.
Anyway.
I'm just
sorry.
saying, let him cook a
the-
vegetable.
Rosia,
The
do you need to rest? Do you guys need to? You can stay here for the night if you need the rest. I'd offer our hospitality.
Yeah, your friends seem
That
asleep.
is- yes. My friends are not much for the conversation. So I think, looking at Emery, Claire may have some conversation for you.
okay. Yeah.
Claire is a sorcerer
Oh, okay.
from our land.
We should go like cook food and do this if we're gonna continue talking.
We would absolutely be grateful for your offer of hospitality. Those mountains that we have just come out of were quite trying on ours.
Yeah, just wait till you go through Utah.
Arizona's going to be rough for y'all.
Stay near the river.
Yeah.
Hit the Nevada.
Stay
Mhm.
with the river, and you'll skip Nevada.
I like that
Pretty
you are not
much.
warning them of the Grand Canyon.
If you're walking along
I mean,
the
if you're
river,
going-
it's not a problem.
You should be okay through the river. If
You'll
you're,
just be in the canyon.
Yeah.
And then looking over at Mel,
Huh?
Hagmar, our party's wizard, may have some guidance for what you are talking of, but I am not sure.
Hagmar?
Hagmar, yes.
Okay.
She's getting all stingy because of the dude's name.
Is this Is his name offensive in your language?
No, no, no. I've just never had the privilege to meet a wizard before.
And then,
Is Hagmar here? I don't want to make that mistake twice.
Hegmar, I am only one of two females, me and Malin. Malin, you see a darkly clad, scarred, quiet woman off on the left who nods her head forward at the mention of Malin.
That is
Hagmar
not what I.
is a skinny, bearded, cloaked man. Clairn has the most eccentric appearance of the group. He's got something that would closely resemble a braided dreadlock with many colored tassels woven into the braid. Roshia is dressed also in simple dark garb. And when the hood is pulled up, it obscures most of her face. And then you also see a very beefy boy for an elf. Very much built. Something that would resemble like a wide receiver. You know, strong as heck, still tall and lean.
Mhm.
Very also scarred. And Roshia refers to him as Vulred.
I'm starting to see why Olmok was not a surprising name to them. Well,
But we absolutely are grateful for your hospitality. We will do our best to be as little obstruction and potentially even willing to assist in the unique practices of your land to make our stay as unobstructive as possible.
So what kind of forage does your lizards eat?
Small rodents, they like the mice quite a
Oh.
lot.
Perfect.
They're big. That's a lot of mice.
They are very effective hunters. If there is any pest in your area, they will probably remove it permanently.
Charlie, go get in the house. Go stay in the house.
Oh, do
I
not
think
worry.
you
We
should.
have dog in our land. They don't eat the dog.
I'm sure they don't. Charlie, you stay in the house. I'm
I
watching
think you should let them have the
The-
barn.
The small bears that wear the mask of a bandit in your land, they very much enjoy eating those.
raccoons.
Oh,
Trash pandas. Yeah.
Hello, raccoons.
They have been feasting upon them quite readily.
Oh God, they might be rabid.
So how about
Bring it up.
how
It's
about
fine.
y'all? Do you eat meat or you vegetarians?
We do not object too much. We eat the bread, we eat the plant, we eat the animal. We are not.
Oh, okay. Well, that'll be easy. I'll talk to Walt and tell him we're going to put a place setting for 5 more.
Is Walt the one who's cooking you were just warning us of?
No. I'm doing the cook.
James, do you want to help Walt? He'll help. He can chop stuff.
Does red hair in your land mean good cook?
Not always.
How dare you?
Hey, James. Maybe because we have guests, we could eat vegetables again.
What are you talking about? We
I
can
don't
eat
know,
any
Elliot. Barely. Those things that come out of a can aren't vegetables.
Hey, spam is food too. I don't care what anybody says. I love that
Ew,
stuff.
That is not a vegetable.
Well, if y'all would get the vegetables to grow.
We have some from our field rations we can contribute as well if this would help
You're-
alleviate the burden.
You're gonna need those where you're going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, you want to save those.
Okay.
We'll even give
But we
you.
appreciate
You know
it.
what? We'll give you some spam for the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, that stuff stores now. We'll butcher a cow out today and we'll have a big barbecue tonight.
Would
That's a
you
lot of
be
cow.
okay if we use your cow for water skins as well?
Sure, that's fine. I don't have time to tan it, but
We would even be willing to contribute currency towards your hospitality. And they pull out a bag of coin that you have never seen before.
Ooh, shiny.
really,
I've
Huh.
never seen shiny.
we don't. I don't know. Sure, that's fine. We'd be more interested in information and knowledge and training in the magic that these kids seem to have.
Yeah.
We'd trade for that.
We would, if you are seeking
I like shiny.
the trade in knowledge and training, we would have to impose on your hospitality for a bit longer. If you do not have the magic, this is not a dinner conversation and we are done. Magic is a very powerful and complicated mistress.
I understand, but I don't think any of us got anywhere else we need to be.
No.
We would very much appreciate. We at most a week. We have extreme desire to get out of this land before a Muratar's reach expands any further.
How long does it take him to generally conquer worlds?
At this point, how big is the boss town that he landed in?
I mean, that's on the other coast. That's on the other side of the continent.
It's a few thousand miles away.
Yeah, it's like 200 or 300 days ride.
Jesus, this land is massive.
Oh, we've got that's only this continent. We've got more continents. It's a lot bigger than that.
Just wait till the
This
winter
is
in
only
Texas.
one of the lands?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got 7, actually.
7 lands?
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of islands and stuff. Yeah, it's a lot.
I'm not sure. I've got some corrals you can put your lizards in as long as they're not going to bother the horses. And
They have been kicked by the horse before. They no mess with horse
Well,
no more.
it's going to take a little bit so the horses don't run out of the corral, because I'm pretty sure they've never seen giant lizards before. And I remember the one time when they saw camels, and it took them about 2 days to get over that. So let's just keep them separate.
We will not impose upon your hospitality.
Okay, let me get the horses in the North 40, and then you can bring your lizards in.
Even if you are okay, we can just take a patch of field. We have tent, we have all of the things. Just simply knowing that we will not be chased off of your property. We have been chased off of many property in the last week. It has been
You've gone through
very
some,
sleepless.
some territory there.
We got over the
Yeah.
mountains and the people became far less kind to crossing fences.
Speaking of which, you're going to help us fix those.
Yeah, you
You
are.
more than welcome to. The
And
simple
I-
mending spell should cure this.
Whoa,
You've got a
what
spell
now?
to fix fence?
That is the
Now
coolest
wait
thing
a
I've ever
minute.
heard.
Have a problem? There's a
Well,
spell
maybe
for that.
maybe while Elliot gets the horses moved, you can show us his mending spell and fix these fences, and then we can get you moved into that area.
Perfect. So you Roja and Hagmar in particular go towards the fences.
Are you stuck in that voice?
Yes. This is how I sound this podcast now.
You were stuck on all of the accents.
It is just like a Rolodex. It is now French, now British.
There was a little bit of Middle Eastern and Russian in there for a second.
Yeah.
There was a strong Scottish moment. That
Yes,
killed me.
yes.
It is vague foreign. Your brain is doing its best to process this accent into something
Worst
relatable.
Babelfish ever.
It kind of landed on French for a while, like a very cartoony French Pink Panther-esque. But
French is the easiest one to stay with for a while. It depends on what word I start the sentence with. It goes from there.
I loved your dip into Australian for a second there, though. That was fun.
That was entirely by accident. Shocking, I know.
Oh, there we're at French again.
All right. So yes, they go out. They find the broken fence line, and I'm assuming your fence is glorified barbed wire, or
Oh god, yeah, it's rusty old, patched in 100 places, barbed wire.
so you see Hagmar speak to Roja in a language you don't understand at all. Very wispy, very not something I can recreate. And Roja nods to Hagmar, and she grabs 2 pieces of the barbed wire and holds it together. And Hagmar walks up to it, does some vague gesturing and some words, and the 2 pieces simply become one.
Oh, that was.
Oh god, I gotta get one of those.
Do it again, but slower.
Yeah, I did not catch like any of that.
James is in the back of the group, like silently attempting to do it himself with like 2 pieces of scrap that he found.
Emery's doing the same thing, but less secret.
So on this one, on the next piece, because I'm assuming it's like, 3 or 4 lines of barbed wire. 4. So Roja reaches down to the next one, holds them together, and Hegmar looks at both of the females in your party who seem to be the magic users. And you see him pull out 2 rocks, 2 lodestones. Holds them in his hand. And he waves his hands in a very, just jazz hands is honestly the closest you could refer to it as.
Magician hand.
Mel's over here.
Twiddles
Jazz
his
hands.
fingers and goes from his chest out towards his shoulders. And says something in a language your mouth cannot recreate. But as he does so, again, the 2 pieces simply become a piece.
Cool.
They repeat it and make sure that the rest of the fence is repaired.
I feel like Mel absolutely approaches any attempt that she does at magic from this point forward with jazz hands.
So James gives up at some point and just chucks the 2 pieces of metal and just stalks back to the house.
Hegmar, in particular, looks at Mel and in a quiet voice says, young miss, we must discuss where you are getting your powers.
It's from my cell phone,
This is not the case, no.
but it works.
I feel a weight about you that, frankly, I am
You know,
concerned about.
it's really rude to comment on a woman's weight. I'm just
This
saying.
is not your physical form. Your physical form has clearly prepared for long hikes. The weight is to your soul. There is a mark upon you that is now permanent.
Oh, that sounds bad.
This is typically frowned upon where I come from, yes, but perhaps it is the common custom of your land.
I don't know that that's ever happened in our land before. But as far as custom, yeah, it's very custom for me to make agreements without asking all the right questions. I do it like all the time.
Oh, you must always make sure that you understand the entire agreement.
Thanks. It's a little late for that, don't you think?
Yes, I do. Frequently. I went to school for a long time for that.
Yeah, I didn't go to school for very long. I'm definitely not for that. And it was a hot minute since I actually showed up to my government class.
You have class on government. This is simple topic. King is in charge. End of class. I do not understand what else there is to know.
See,
King
I
rules land. You listen to King. You give him money so he does not murder you and your family in the night.
wow.
That's
Government. He occasionally creates army to protect your borders for your benefit.
Akbar, I think you sound a little bitter.
The kings. I preferred when we had our normal king, I will say. He was not good man, but he was not a Moritar either.
Immorator? Oh,
Yes.
a Moritar. Oh, that's the big scary dude, right?
He is the big scary.
Right.
dude,
Sorry.
With a capital Z.
It is a Moritar. Is he an elf? What's he?
Moritar is one of. He was a man.
A
He was human.
Oh. Yeah, that sounds like something we'd do.
He is very long lived for a human, though.
He ate his kale chips.
We have the kale.
See, they know what kale is.
A very popular sailor from our world ate the kale to get stronger. But this was just fairy tale we tell our children to make them eat their vegetables.
Wow, they have Popeye too. That's
What was the name of your sailor?
He was Strong Arm the Sailor Man.
Sounds like kind of copyrighty. Would he happen to have had tattoos on his likely massive forearms?
Do you have sailors that do not have tattoos?
Yeah, I don't.
You are a sailor. You are nowhere near water. You are a bad sailor. We have been searching for the water. Why are you not near it?
Well, it works a little differently here, or at least it used to.
Do
So
you sail on land?
no, so our sail force, if that's what the sail force, our
Navy's always been the term.
naval term.
The sail force.
So our navy.
Nope, they are the sail force.
I'm sorry, Hagmar. We've been saying a lot of weird words and a lot of weird shit's been happening lately, so I kind of lost my vocal language there for a minute. So our Navy is volunteer only. We don't make people join it, and they are not born into service, which may it sounds like maybe that's how it works for you guys.
It is a little this, a little that.
Okay.
Sometimes you are trapped into servitude and you die a horrible death amongst the pirates. But many
Wow.
people choose to make a living as a sailor.
Okay, Blaine, our naval force is volunteer only. So I am what they would call a recruiter. My job currently is to find people who want to serve in our Navy. That's why I'm on land.
Do you have fitness instructors in your world?
Fitness instructor.
Yeah, they teach people to be healthier and how to do
Stuff.
athletic things and just generally be healthier, which makes you happier and more well-rounded.
Which one is it? Well-rounded or healthy?
Yes.
The round folk from my land is not what we call healthy.
No, like internal well-rounded. You know, like my soul's black and marked, like well-rounded psychologically.
We have clerics, yes.
Oh, that's not the same thing.
We have the monks in the hills, yes. They meditate for long periods of time, focused deep inward on their status in the good and evil.
Okay, that's sort of, kind of, but in like 30-minute intervals so that you can fit it between picking up the kids from school and going grocery shopping. Mel will demonstrate.
Why do you do these activities? What is the point?
First you tell me my soul's black, and now you tell me my life has no purpose.
I do not comment on your life. You simply lay down and try to push the earth away from you.
No.
This is fool's errand. The earth is bigger.
Nope. Bill's offended.
We do not need to find excuse for activity. Life is hard enough. We don't seek pain.
I'm going for a hike.
Elliot coming back from taking the horses are going to pass her going for a jog like, where are you going?
Away.
Are you going to come back? Do I need to set supper for you?
Yes.
Okay. Have fun. Hey, Charlie, go with her. She needs you more than me. And stay away from those lizards.
Rough.
Roof.
With that, the five elves break away for a little bit. You see them find an adequately flat spot in your field that does not appear to have crop growing in it or cow poop, and set up camp. It's a pretty simple camp. It looks fairly similar to what you would have seen in mountain man camps back in history books. A very simple pitched tent in a circular fashion around a fire. They do set up a fire, a ring of stones to contain the fire. Very simple, very obviously animal hide sleeping bags, things of that nature. It straight up looks like these folks crawled out of a history book and set up camp in your field.
Elliot will grab a wheelbarrow and he'll take a load of wood out to him and drop it off because, of course, Elliot's running a wood-burning stove in his house, so he's got he's got, I mean, his pile's low from the winter, but it's not too low. So he gets a wheelbarrow load out and comes out and brings it to him. He said, here, so you don't have to go scavenging. Here's some wood for your fire.
This is very kind of you, sir. Thank you for your great hospitality.
Yeah, and supper will be ready a little after dark. We'll come. You're welcome to come in whenever you want, but supper will be ready about dark.
And you see Hagmar set his pack down. It hits with a thud, not unlike a high schooler's backpack, actually. Probably the same number of textbooks inside. It hits very solidly. You see Volred just pulling weapon after weapon off of his lizard's pack, setting them in spots where, as a former member of the military yourself, you know he knows exactly where every one of those weapons is. He can grab it without a thought. He's ready to go. Same with Maylin. Her pack out's a little more simple. A sword, a bow. But she handles it with just as much familiarity as Volred does. Roshia is just keeping an eye on you. You don't see her unloading anything. She's not distrustful, but it's not exactly entrusting either. And Claren is just kind of lounging around, watching everyone else offload all their crap.
Yeah, Elliot, after he drops it off, he's not gonna stand around looking or watching. He's gonna be walking back because to him, from the very old school, it's impolite to meddle in other people's business if they don't talk to you about it. So, I mean, he'll definitely notice as he walks out, but he's not going to stand around looking or being nosy. He wants to really, really, really bad, but he knows that's rude.
You get the feeling that Roja in particular picks up on that. But you're able to head back. Some time passes and they join you guys at the main house for dinner.
Hey there, listener. I just wanted to cut in here for a quick ad break. First off, thank you for listening. This project is an absolute blast to make, and I hope you're enjoying listening as much as we enjoy creating. Secondly, this isn't a sponsored ad per se, but if you are looking to do your own podcast or looking into a new home to host your current podcast, we may be able to help. We have been using Pinecast to host our episodes, and they have made what could be a complicated process quite simple. For just $10 a month or $110 a year, we have been able to host an unlimited number of episodes with no storage cap and no bandwidth cap. There is a cap on episode size, but for most podcasts, you will probably be fine. They also provide a tip jar that you can use to grant access to exclusive episodes, and they have a website builder with domain support. In other words, just about everything you could need to get your podcast up and running. Even better, if you use our referral code, R-409F5D, you can get 40% off of your first 4 months when you sign up for a paid plan for the first time. Doing so is also a great way to support our podcast. You can find a link to Pinecast, that's Pinecast, as well as our referral code in the episode description. If you are looking for a different way to support the podcast, please leave us a review on your podcasting app of choice, and of course, word of mouth is the best way to help us spread. Thank you again for joining us on this adventure, and now we're back to the episode.
They come in, and you can tell that they have put on their nicest clothing. That's clean. Is the biggest giveaway. It does not have just the dust of travel coated on it. A lot of whites, a lot of blacks, not much in the way of flamboyant colors. But the wizard, it almost seems to be glittering to an extent. But
I'll have Emery while James and Walter cooking supper. I'll say, Emery, come help me put some leaves in the table. And the dinner table, which is a fairly small square one, pulls out to an impressive length. We end up getting all 7 leaves of the table and putting it in.
7. Jesus. Wow. That's a lot.
It's a monstrous
And
table.
we can put everybody at the table.
Yeah.
Elliot goes out and grabs a bunch of they're folding chairs. Half of them are kind of rusty. He kind of wipes them off and he says, boy, it's been a long time since I had this much company. I don't much care for it, but at least it's just for a little bit. I don't know that one you need to talk to about your fancy doohickey
That
thing.
one.
Yeah, talk to them because I don't know what's going on. And right now, I'm kind of scared and any kind of help, any advantage we can get. So whatever magic-y pocus crap you could pull out, talk to him and find out because
That's the plan. The magic is way out of anything I ever
I'm-
considered.
I'm quite frankly keep expecting to wake up and this has just been a dream. But while I'm in this dream, I'm just going to pretend like I don't understand it, but whatever, if that's what it's going. So learn everything you can.
I will. I'll take notes too.
so you get your table all set up, and and the elves join you guys at the table. They do sit with each other. They don't disperse amongst you. And you see on each outer wing of the party, you have Volred and you have Maylin on the other side. And then you have Clairn, Hagmar, and Roja. Hagmar in the dead center of the party. Feels very natural to them. But that they sit down on one of the lengths of the table, making sure that they are not surrounded on either side. All natural things, but the 2 military folk might pick up on. And they did bring with them their pack of travel rations, and they pull out some bread. It's a thin. It looks similar to like a pita, very almost dry crust on the outside, and unleavened bread, dense, not very pillowy. And they set that atop the table as well. To which Clairn says, I am sorry that we do not have better to provide, but I think you will find that this bread is quite satisfying. It, as they say where we come from, fills the pit quite nicely.
Well, thank you. And I've had favors given to me in my past, and I owe some favors to other travelers. So we take it in the spirit it was given, and we hope that this food that we provide is good for you. So we'll say grace really quick, and then we'll dig in.
Grace.
It's just a small prayer.
Oh,
At this
geez.
point, James is probably going to come out with a bunch of food, and it's a bunch of beef ragu.
I feel like at this point, Mel
with
will come back.
vegetables.
Ooh.
Mel will come back with Jacob in tow after having tried to explain them to Jacob, at least enough to keep him from saying anything too rude during dinner.
Their ears are so.
I told you about the ears. We don't talk about the ears. Just
I can't decide if they're scary or pretty.
maybe after dinner, if you ask really nicely, they'll let you go pet the lizards.
They have lizards.
We'll talk about it after dinner. Eat your ragu.
Why would I eat a rat?
Ragu. Eat your pasta.
Boy sits down and he grabs both the fork and the knife, and he's ready to go to town.
We all pause while Elliot says grace, and then we dig in.
How is it? How's the food, James?
Roll
Can't t-
performance.
That's what I just did. I'll roll. I'll do an actual roll.
There we go.
Now that you've been told.
18.
Smashed it.
Bomb. This shit is baller.
Dank.
See, look at that. You can't even tell that canned tomatoes.
These are canned tomatoes. These are not canned tomatoes.
Just roll with it, James. It's just they don't understand what we say, and we
Those are
don't.
Bad critics.
Yeah.
This is quite good.
Thank you.
It is by far the best we have eaten in quite some time. There was some chicken in Memphis that was quite fantastic as well. But since then, it has been just this bread.
You didn't stop in Kentucky for some chicken?
The Memphis chicken seemed quite good. And yeah, Kentucky's kind of up.
Upward? I don't know. I don't know maps. You would think I do, but it's not my job.
They are land maps, you know, water map.
Sure. Let's go with that.
Yeah, well, you were the sail force.
Look, I fix things. I don't know where things are. It's different.
They definitely look at you perplexed as you just keep, as your grace is just to God. It is not to a God.
In general. Yeah.
That you notice that the prayer does not catch them off guard, but the repeated name of God does. But they decide to eat first and question later.
What was this about a black soul? James says like mid bite.
At that point, Agmar looks at you and he says, "This is conversation that perhaps I should have with the young lady first."
Is this why I looked out the kitchen window and saw you jogging like a mad lady?
I need to get my exercise. I only mocked out half the stalls today. I'm getting weak.
Well, get them all done, and then you'll be strong, like me.
That's not cardio.
Yeah, stop mucking about.
It does if you muck them fast.
I mean, it's got a point.
He does have a point.
Yes.
Yeah, no, but I'm tired of looking at horse shit.
That's
oh,
also
we
a
all
valid
are. We all are.
But this is a matter of a deeply personal nature. I would prefer to confer with the Mel first.
My schedule's busy from now until the end of time.
No. I feel like you need to have a conversation about why your soul is now blackened, or whatever.
Hey, Elliot, you got any more of that whiskey?
I probably got a little bit around here somewhere if I go look. No, Walt, I'm not going to get in your stash.
I'm pretty sure we've drunk dry at this point.
You do see that the prepared or the available alcohol is dwindling quite rapidly. You have two
Hey,
people
guys, you
from the
might
kitchen
want to
right
watch it. This might be
And
all
a
we
sailor.
got for a while. So just
and a
as a
sailor.
reminder, this might be it.
Great.
Unless you're going to go set up a steel, but I bet right now, I don't think anybody bother if you did. I don't have any copper tubing, though.
I don't know anything about distillation. That's a little bit out of my wheelhouse.
I know if you leave kombucha in a hot car, it kind of ferments.
Russia says, I know a bit about distilling, but people don't tend to survive my beverages.
Oh, goodness.
That sounds fantastic. How do I get my hands on this?
That sounds exciting.
You cross me at the wrong time, tall man.
Oh, that kind
Oh, it's like
of...
a threat thing. That's
Oh.
distilling must mean something different.
Does staying alive is that not an incentive in your world?
No, it's just the stuff with that's borderline poison is usually stuff that gets you the most.
See, there is the confusion. Removes the borderline.
Oh.
It's just straight poison. Then.
Yes. It is a useful skill. Do you not?
That's
need
not.
the poison in your world. How do you eliminate your foes?
With this, and I pull out like one of my like.
Honestly,
gnarly
it doesn't
shit
happen
She
very
pulls out a
often.
nice curved, blackened blade with red detailing along the spine of it. We have this as well, but there are times where you must do the deed and not be in the room when it happens.
There are
Yeah,
children
right,
at the
right.
table. Maybe this is not a
Yeah,
dinner
let's not-
conversation.
I mean, he
Murder's
did
not-
see kids saw what we did. So
watched you murder some.
Yes, but
And get
rosacea over here doesn't
in-
know that.
It was in self-defense. That's different than murder.
So you use those knives for combat?
Oh, combat is an interesting word that suggests that
You
my
use that to kill
opponent
people.
has a chance. But yes, I have cut some individuals' lives short.
I
Quite
I appreciate the
literally.
pun. That was nice. Good pun.
Thank you.
Jacob, get the
Do you
back
guys
of
know
your
what
sauce
puns
out
are?
from
Anyway.
behind your ears and go play with the lizards.
Is he done?
Um,
Did he eat all his food?
I think you and I are
Maybe
best friends.
Walt should go with him. He is snack sized.
Oh God, I hadn't even thought of that. Wait, Jacob, come back here.
The boy is halfway out the door.
He's doing boy stuff.
I got him. I'll go babysit the young whippersnapper.
Sorry, I hadn't even thought of that. I'd feel really bad.
Jacob!
If I got Jacob eaten by a giant lizard.
You're not particularly fond of the young boy, are you?
I mean,
Oh,
Me,
God,
not
he's got his
really.
hand in his mouth.
we'd like him to be whole.
We did
and
save his life.
Yeah, we'd like to
I'm a
keep him
little
whole and
attached.
well.
Wait, aren't we supposed to take him somewhere?
Yeah,
you're
that
like-
would be great.
Humbo jumbo thing. Say something about a church.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go out on the porch and smoke a cigarette, and y'all talk about your magic-y stuff or whatever you need to. I'm gonna be outside. It's stuffy in here.
Volred will join you on the porch as well.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna do dishes. Yeah, don't we need to clean up the table?
Please, we must not let you take any further care of us. Hagmar, stand up, and he will look into the kitchen area where the sink is. He'll fiddle with the knobs, and he'll see that it produces water, which is fascinating.
He spends a moment just like turning it off, turning it back on, turning it off, turning it
He's
on.
trying to figure out how this contraption works. Yeah.
Then he turns it all the way on hot and scalds himself.
Right.
You do not have the magic. How does your water cause
Fire.
You know, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I have no idea how we get hot water, so
I'm shocked
It's magic.
myself that the hot water heater's working.
Right?
it's gas.
We'll assume it's
We figured
Oh,
so.
it could be a okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
you got
propane
propane.
hot water heater. All right, that works.
And if you've got you've got a windmill.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Gold.
And see, it says it's
It's funny. It's not until you try to explain everyday things to someone else you realize that you have no idea how any of this crap works.
But so Volred
Yeah.
stands in the kitchen, and again, you see him. He produces a little bit of string and a stick from inside of his robe.
That'd be Hagmar, right?
Yep.
Red's
Hagmar-
out on the
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
porch with me.
Hagmar stands in the kitchen and produces a little bit of string and wood, and again, in a tongue you do not understand, speaks for just a moment, and then the dishes start washing themselves.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
I wish I had known that one when I was like, that would have been
James
so
is-
nice.
I would like to learn that now.
Right?
James
How
is
did
gonna
you do
throw
that?
his hands up in the air, just like, "Well, I'm done," and then he's gonna walk, like, stalk out of the kitchen.
As you start walking, you hear a voice in front of you say, "Oh, excuse me, sir. I must bypass you to get to the table. There is nothing in front of you."
What in the? What? Ooh. I'm just gonna put my hands up, like, who's there? What's going on?
You follow the voice, and then plates get picked up from the table, and they start making their way back to the sink.
Okay. James is going to grab a couple of like reusable bags, and he's gonna just stalk to his room.
Like Ziplocs?
No, like like here we have to use reusable bags. Instead of
Oh,
plastic
the
bags.
grocery bags.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He's gonna grab a bundle of them, stalk to his room.
Russia looks at you confused and returns to the party at hand.
Mel's going to attempt to mimic what he did to cast the spell to clean the kitchen, and she's going to be shocked to find that she's successful at it. Oh, I thought it was prestidigitation.
This is
Never mind, she is
You
unsuccessful
clean
at it.
one plate.
Yes, in the attempt to do it, I used prestidigitation to clean one plate at a time, and I'm like, this works. It's better than washing.
You hear a voice over your shoulder say, "Oh, well, thank you, madam, for cleaning the plate for me. Let me get that out of your way for you."
Whoa,
plate
why
picks
is the air
itself up.
talking?
And the plate floats towards the cabinets.
I think Hagmar summoned a ghost.
And then you see each
That's
cabinet
creepy.
door open one at a time until it can find the one the plates go into.
I feel like at some point, Mel will like try to like wave at the thing holding it and then knock a plate out of its hands.
Yeah, you feel it. You make contact on the air. You feel the air, which has got to be unsettling. Pardon, madame. Why do you strike upon my person? I am simply trying to take care of the dishes per Hagmar's request.
I'm gonna leave the kitchen. This is a little much.
There is a happy middle ground between hitting me and vacating the premises.
No, there is not today. Here and Mel hands the unseen servant whatever's in her hands and just walks out of the kitchen.
And Hagmar follows. You. Young lady, are you ready to discuss some of what is going on with you?
I don't discuss things like that. It's really not good to dwell on the negative.
I am afraid that the negative is dwelling upon you, though.
Ouch. That sounds uncomfortable. You know, I have thought that felt like my chi was a little off lately.
Then you are very clearly a warlock.
A what now?
Warlock, you have a power, yes?
Yes.
You
And
are-
apparently I can wash dish. I can wash dish, apparently, at a time.
You are not necessarily the most powerful of warlock, but you are warlock. You met a being
Yes, definitely. A big blackish, grayish, morphish, blobbish thing.
that part is worrying. You may deal with the being, and now you have power.
Yeah.
Yes, you are what we call from my lands a warlock.
Okay, what's that? And tell me they're good.
It depends on the being with which you have made a deal. Did your entity give you a name?
Nope. No name. No name. No, I didn't ask. You know, I gotta be honest, I didn't ask. I did not ask its name. It was a very stressful day, and a lot of weird shit had happened, and it offered me a chance at something I really, really wanted, so I just said sure. I didn't really think it all the way through.
Do you frequently enter into contracts with which you do not know the end result?
Define frequently.
More than once?
Well, I mean, I do agree to the YouTube like terms of agreement without actually reading them. Does that count?
This is I don't know what you are saying.
We'll just say yes and move on from there. How about that?
This is a fantastic way to make sure that your lifespan is not a long one.
Oh,
And
so
unfortunately, it is also a fantastic way to make sure that your afterlife is very unpleasant.
an afterlife.
Yes, it is the thing that occurs when you die.
Well,
Your
thanks. I,
soul continues onwards, and there is more life. Without your physical form, you will slip into the ethereal plane unless you get bound to an entity, and then you go where the entity tells you to.
maybe my entity likes to vacation in like someplace really nice. Morocco, maybe? Yeah, that could be nice. Maybe my entity vacations in Morocco and I can just lay on a beach for all of eternity. That sounds nice. I could go for that right now.
Unfortunately, many of the beings that like to vacation do not take on patrons,
Oh, well, that's fair.
patronages.
So I ill-advisedly entered into a contract that I should not have, which I'm not going to say I've never done before because I totally have done that before. Now what? I mean, it can't be that bad of a being. I mean, that's how we ended up with Jacob. We saved his life, probably. And I'm sure it has only the best of intentions for his future.
Your being asked you to save a life?
Yeah, that's why we have the boy running around. By the way, he really wants to ask you about your ears, so I'm really sorry if that conversation happens. Yeah.
Your people are weirdly fixated upon our ears.
They're
It is-
really different to us.
They hear marginally better than the human ear.
I'm just,
They
it's different.
accentuate our high cheekbones significantly.
They do.
better.
They really do. I gotta say, you guys got a fine figure, but that's not the point.
It is worth pause. All your entity wanted was for you to save the boy.
That was the first request.
There is more.
I'm supposed to take him somewhere. I don't know where, but it's supposed to be somewhere along our path. However, our path has currently led us here to the ranch and all of the horse manure.
You are to take the boy somewhere.
Yep.
Where?
No, don't know.
You do not know where you are to take the boy. How do you get him there?
I told you I don't ask questions. It's a character flaw. I don't know what to tell you.
Did the being give you any indication?
I'm
as to where you're going?
supposed to go to a church?
Church.
A white church. I've never seen it before. It looked the vision he planted in my brain, and yes, I know what that sounds like, and I went
Yes,
with
it
it.
sounds normal.
Oh, good. I'm glad that sounds normal to somebody.
This is how most mystical beings communicate.
Oh,
with
perfect.
The mind.
Perfect.
Yes.
So
It's
anyway,
far more efficient than the spoken word, and they are not people with whom they are willing to waste time upon mere mortals.
I wonder what kind of accent he has.
Have you not spoken with him?
Oh, yeah, no, I totally have. You're right. It's not French.
He has that accent.
Sorry. I forget these
Typically gravelly and kind of creepy.
things. Yes, how did you know? That's amazing. It's like you were there. Wait, are you in my head too? Because that's creepy. Like, you should get out.
I have not cast any magics upon you. I am currently thinking hard about my servant.
Oh.
No, I'm not. That's not concentration. he is happening without my effort.
Oh, well, at least you don't have to think too hard about him. That'd be sort of disappointing.
Yes. At that point, I might as well wash the dishes myself.
Right? I mean, how useless would that be?
So, I would be very cautious if I were you. The fact that you have a being that is wanting you to take a small child to a house of worship. In our land, that is not typically a sign of good deeds coming.
Oh. I mean, in our land,
Small children-
usually is. Usually. We're not going to talk about Catholics. But anyway. In our land, that's generally a good sign. That's where orphans go, and he's definitely an orphan. So, I mean, didn't seem like a terrible thing. It's not like he wanted me to sacrifice him or something, because that would be barbaric.
Did your patron request that you make him an orphan?
No. He was an orphan when we found him.
Your patron actually had you save some small child.
Well, that's how I interpreted it. Anyway, I am choosing to believe that whoever currently apparently owns my soul wants only good things for poor little Jacob over there.
What power has your being given you?
So far, I have discovered that I can use my phone, which used to be a technical magic box and is now just a magic box, to shout to people who are not too far away from me. And he let me call my daddy over in California, for whatever that was worth. As we've discussed, that's a very long ways away. And I can clean plates, apparently. I can make things make funny noises, and I believe that I may have also discovered that I can. I can blast things and do damage by making them hurt. It makes a blast, and there's this light, and it seems to hurt them.
Have you been able to attempt using your cell phone on a being that does not have a cell phone?
No, because like everybody's got a cell phone.
I am not entirely sure even what is a cell phone.
Well, obviously not you. You don't have a cell phone. You're not exactly from around here.
Can you, for the sake of research, of course, use your cell phone to, you say it is communication.
Yes.
Can you communication to me with your cell phone?
I don't know. Let me try. So I'll get out our cell phone and send a text to Hagmar
Saying,
testing.
so you send,
Yeah.
and you see Hagmar kind of twitch. It is working. Hold on 1 minute. And you see him furrow his brow, and then your phone goes off.
And what does this message say?
Test received.
Cool. I didn't know I could do that.
If this is the power you are given by your patron, I recommend extreme caution. There are few beings that can reach into the mind of another on behalf of another. We refer to them as the great old ones. They are gods even predating our old gods.
But they're like good, right?
No.
Oh.
No, they are. They do not see the world in the way that we see the world. There is no black and white, good and evil. There is their wants and things preventing them from getting what they want. I am now Dracula.
Oh, you have that myth too? That's cool.
Blah blah blah. I am afraid that I cannot give you much more than that. This could be a great old one from your world. Could be from our. If it is one from our world, I recommend extreme caution moving forward.
Well, like, what does that mean? Like, ask more leading questions? Like, stop communicating? I'm pretty sure that'll end in death.
You have no choice at this point. If you have signed a contract with the patron, you are bound to him.
That sucks.
But yes, typically it is good advice to understand the terms of the agreement to which you are agreeing to.
Do you think it's too late to ask for the terms and conditions?
He will probably be willing to tell you. There is no changing the course of your fate. At this point, you are bound to them, but if he is generous, he might be willing to impart some words of wisdom, as they were.
Hagmar, you are a very depressing fellow. Do you know that?
There is a reason that I decided to pursue magic in books. It is far safer. I am in control 90% of the time.
That sounds like a lot of reading, and God, I hate reading.
It is. I have studied many years. Yes, many years. I started when I was but 40.
Can you do like podcasts or something and just like listen to your spells that way? No, you know what? Never mind. Never mind.
I have a book. The book has... I have many. I have several books. The book has the spells written in it. I read the book, and I know the spell. It has taken many years of practice to learn the draconic language that allows me to read the book in which the spells are written. In many, many a coin.
That sounds boring. Okay.
In the meantime, if you would like help understanding how to control your magic, I can assist with that.
That would be great.
It is activity best served in the daylight so we can see if you've accidentally done something a bit easier. Darkness plus dark magics is frequently not the safest environment to be in, particularly with a beginner.
I'll take your word for it. So, some training first thing in the morning, right after coffee and yoga. Especially after the coffee. And if you guys don't have coffee, I will happily introduce you to coffee.
These words are just as foreign as everything else you seem to say, young blonde woman.
Perfect. So, tomorrow morning, bright and early, I'm going to introduce you to coffee.
I am excited.
The right answer.
That Hagmar just kind of bows his head and makes way to his camp. You see him pick up a book and start reading it by firelight. The camera pans back into the dining hall where Claire and Rusha and Malin are still with Olnok and Emery. Claire leans back in his chair, kind of throws his arm over the back of it, very super cash, and looks over in Emery's direction. So you have the magics as well, yes?
I do, yeah. It just started I guess a couple weeks ago now. When a Moritar came into this world, as far as I can tell.
Interesting. You could not, there is no magics before at all. It was
None.
in line with him coming.
Only in stories. That I didn't have magic until that day.
Interesting.
Trust me, I would have found out. I tried.
I think this is something that we should discuss at length during the daytime. For beginners, there are some elements of magic that are better explained in the light of day.
Sure.
Some things you can see a bit better.
Well, maybe you can answer some questions tonight then, if we're not going to talk about magic-specific stuff.
Sure, what questions do you have?
You guys were talking about planes earlier. Are you from do you think it's a different plane that you're from than we're another plane? Or do you think it's something other than that?
Hagmar might be a better person for
Better
this.
person
but
to ask,
my,
okay.
My understanding is this is something different. It
Okay.
sounds as though the wizards of my world had a pretty firm understanding of the planes of existence. And there is nothing that we heard of that sounds like this.
Gotcha. And traveling to the coast, is that just what's your plan there? Are you just trying to find a boat and get as far away from Imoritar as possible?
Yes, the Imoritar, historically at least, has made a point of conquering an area of land one at a time. It is vital for him to firmly build his dominion over a land to better strengthen his army before he moves on to the next.
Gotcha. Were you in the same place as Imoritar when he cast his magic to come here? Because you guys ended up pretty far away from each other.
We were in the same kingdom as Imoratar. He was in a different city than we were.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the type of magic that he cast is unlike anything I have ever seen before.
Like world breaking.
Far, far more powerful than... Honestly, this is the first time I have begun to think that perhaps he is indeed a god.
That's terrifying.
This level of power, the great powerful wizards of our land, have teleportation circles where they can expedite themselves from one tower to another tower. This is
Something else.
else entirely.
Okay. And I mean, you mentioned that no one has ever stopped or survived trying to stop Moritar.
No, you either fall into his dominion or you join his army one way or another.
Does he like mind control people?
No.
You
Mind
join his
con-
army or you die.
You join his army.
Okay.
Whether you die or not is not of consequence for Imoritar.
He brings people back from the dead.
He has many a soldier who is on their second life. Yes, they are.
Huh.
His army. Perhaps this will help the rest of you understand better why we are fleeing Imoritar.
Yeah.
He conquered our lands with ease by the time he got to us. His army had already conquered most other known kingdoms, and some of which there were only rumor in our land. He is very cruel. His army is vast and growing constantly. He does not appear to have brought the entirety of his army with him yet, based off the fact that we are able to have this conversation. But
Mm-hmm.
there is a reason his followers call him Retribution.
What is he retribution against? That's like a retaliation. That's
Many lifetimes ago, even for the long-lived ones, there was a great war in our world. The war had expanded to such an extent that it became clear that either the war ended or our people did.
Mhm.
The old gods, at the time we just referred to them as the gods, they intervened. The gods rely on followers as much as followers rely on the gods. The gods need the followers' sacrifices and belief in them as a deity to gain power.
Gotcha.
And as such, if you are a firm enough believer, they grant you some of the power they gain.
Mm-hmm.
If we had wiped ourselves out, it would have effectively wiped out the gods as well.
Mm-hmm.
So they intervened on our behalf. They ended the war in brutal but firm and swift and relatively fair circumstances. They did warn us that if there was ever another great war, they would leave our plane of existence and build themselves up elsewhere. They would not intervene on our behalf again.
Do you think they did that? And that's why these new gods have come in?
We know that we were not willing to gamble for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
There was a very long peace. So long, in fact, that many countries completely disbanded their militaries. There was no need for military. Once war was forbidden by all of the gods, including the gods of war itself.
Yeah, why test that?
Yes. Imoratar at one point was just a man. He comes from the land of Iharadrin Halath. They were one of the few countries that kept an army. Their army was mostly ceremonial. Their whole empirical structure revolved around a military presence. The military granted their emperor his power.
Okay. Yeah, I get that.
He, however, felt that having a military meant they should train for war. Why have a military with weapons if they do not know how to use the weapons?
Mm-hmm.
Over time, he developed a small contingent individuals who agreed with his beliefs. And that contingent continued to grow until he became a figurehead of the army.
Gotcha.
He used the army to overthrow
The
the
king.
government of
Mhm.
his nation. And with such a swift, decisive action, many people justifiably felt that his way was wise. Immediately, the land changed overnight. His rule initially was not too bad. He still treats the people of Iharadrin Halath far better than any of the other conquered realms. He mines those realms for resources that he returns back to his home country.
Gotcha.
Once he had taken over his country, he spread his dominion rapidly. His army was the only army anywhere nearby that was trained.
No one was able to fight back.
And by the time they encountered a land that could fight back, his army was so vast that sheer numbers were
impossible.
overwhelmed. It's because of how easily he was able to rise to power that many of our people felt that the old gods had indeed forsaken us,
Mm-hmm.
and that he was their divine punishment for our laziness.
He is the retribution
He is
against the people.
Yes. For
Okay.
forsaking our gods, for not in his believers' minds, war is the natural state of people,
Yeah.
not peace. The continuation of peace out of fear was viewed as cowardice by his followers, and a prolonged weakness was seen as, I believe the word that your friend Elliot used earlier was sin.
Yeah.
This was the great sin of our land in his believers' eyes.
Okay.
And so therefore he is the retribution being waged upon us for our insolence and cowardice and laziness as a people.
Is there any country, kingdom in your land that's not conquered at all?
Not that I am aware of, no.
So he's moved on to bigger things because he's done everything he could there.
Yes. That is my best guess. His realm stretched into lands that I had never even heard of before.
Wow. That's terrifying, actually, now that I think about it.
Retribution is a fitting name for
Yeah.
him.
I think Emery sits with that for a minute, just quietly, just kind of thinking over all the things she's just been told.
If Imoretar has come to your lands, it is only time until his army grows and his conquest continues. That is why we are looking for the nearest ocean. If we can get to the other side of the ocean, perhaps we will be able to finish our lives in peace before he reaches that land.
Yeah.
That is, in our view, about our only real option. With that, Claren rises from the table and says, "Tomorrow we will have much more positive conversation. the world of magic is
It's
world
pretty
of
cool.
fun,
Yeah.
especially for those of us who are graced with the powers of sorcery. We don't have to dabble in the books like Hagmar.
It sounds like a lot of work when you could just do it without that.
He likes to pretend. He is capable of great magic, but yet ours is much more enjoyable than what that bookworm deals with.
I look forward to learning from you.
With that, Claren thanks everybody at the table for the meal. Hagmar's invisible servant has pretty well finished cleaning up the dishes. Malin and Roj also kind of bow. Thank you again for your hospitality, and we will make camp. You are welcome to join us at the campfire if you should so desire. We are very light resters, but we will leave you to your evening. Thank you again.
Sure.
With that, they leave.
Cool.
So we pan into James's room with his grocery bags aplenty.
James is currently at a desk with a bunch of papers, penciling out what looks like very badly drawn schematics for a building, for exits, entrances, windows, and figuring how much he could carry, specific things, what he can use to muffle sounds, things, making sure his lock-picking tools are in working condition.
As we see that scene, we will pan out and end our episode. Theater of the Mind is Jeremy Arfston as Elliot Brandybane, Amanda Arfston as Melanie Kelly, Michael Burnell as Olnok Varger Johnson, Michael Downs as James O'Brien, Casey Weingarten as Emery Lee, and myself, Mike Schock, as your Dungeon Master. We release new episodes every 2 weeks, so our next episode will release on January 7th. If you want to follow us, our social media and website can be found in our link tree, which can be found in the podcast description. Also in the podcast description, you can find a link to Pinecast, as well as our referral code to get you 40% off your first 4 months of a paid membership. The music this week was sourced from Epidemic Sounds, who we are not sponsored by, under the Creative Commons license. The songs used in order are The Pulse of My Heart by Pierce Roswell, Never the Same by Damon Green, Below the Horizon by Dawn, My Soul Delights by Bonnie Grace, Catching Up Her Story by Magnus Ludvigsen, Dark Roads by Walt Adams, Dark Citrine by Arden Forrest, When It Hits You by Wanderer's Trove, A World That's Gone Bad instrumental version by The Devil's Sway, As We Remember by Rebecca Mardall, Imminent Storm by Daniel Cade, Another Sunset by King Peaks, Fadfada by Ali Sabah, Gargoyle by Eden Avery, and Hanin by Ali Sabah. The Theater of the Mind theme, ad break, and outro were written by Mike Schock.